Inec fears we must not give in to anti-democratic forces, Labour Party says. Wow. I know with the kind of violence and with the kind of hate speeches we are getting from this year's presidential campaign from all the political parties, and with the assassins being committed on INEC offices across the country, with all the rallies, attacks. So INEC is scared whether this election will be postponed or not. Okay, though they have promised that they must conduct the election and that BVS and all their preparations are ready for deployment and ready to conduct the election. Even though Showore has come out a few days ago to say that the political actors in Nigeria are planning to install an interim government, just like what they did after the 1993, after they denied Abiola the presidency, they put Ernest Shonekan for I think barely 6 months, and then another military, Abacha, took over government under a coup again. I hope that is not what they're trying to do this time. So INEC has allayed a fear that they might postpone this election if care is not taken or whatever. But the Labour Party here is coming out to say we must not give in to anti-democratic forces that are terrorizing the political space of Nigeria. Okay, so Labour Party is coming out to tell INEC they must conduct the election. They must not be scared. They must not fear anything. And something they must do it so that we will clean it once and for all. All right, the Labour Party has urged the Independent National Electoral Commission and Nigerians as a whole not to give in to threats by persons and political parties to frustrate the nation's march towards a better society by thwarting the forthcoming general elections. Chief spokesperson of the party, Dr. Tanko Yusuf, right, said this in response to the alarm raised by INEC on the possibility of a shift in date or cancellation of the 2023 elections owing to growing security threats. Tanko told Vanguard in a telephone interview that the attacks on INEC facilities were clearly orchestrated by persons who were afraid of a free and fair electoral process because failure already stares them in the face. He said the threat posed to our electoral process by these people who have been attacking INEC offices and facilities is a clear call for vigilance, which is the eternal price to pay for our liberty. He said, we urge INEC, the security forces, and the generality of Nigerians not to give in to these cowards who are desperate to cause a constitutional crisis because they already know they can't win in a free, fair, and credible electoral process. That is true. We call on all lovers of democracy at home and abroad to resist plots to cling onto power by a rejected cabal who have held Nigeria and Nigerians hostage since independence. It is time for our security agencies to up their game by arresting and exposing these enemies of Nigeria and their sponsors. Yeah. So the problem I have with all of this is that I remember, and I keep saying it in my previous videos, all right? Now, because of the spate of violence in electoral campaign rallies, okay, in the campaign rallies, we saw when the Peace Committee of Nigeria, led by retired General Abdulsalami Abubakar, all right, constituted a meeting with stakeholders and then to sign a peace accord, all right, and everybody was there except Tinubu. Tinubu asked Shetima, his vice presidential aspirant, to go and sit for him and sign. Meanwhile, that accord was meant to be signed by everybody, or by the presidential candidates themselves and not by proxy. All right. But that didn't happen. Tinubu did not join. And that is why everything about Tinubu has been anti-democratic, talking and sending stones, using his allies and his spokespersons to send nonsense messages and tarnishing the image of people here. All right, FFK talks anyhow. What is his name? Festus Kayamo talks anyhow from APC with impunity. Even Tinubu himself talks with impunity, like they are above the law. If you come to PDP, the same thing. Dino Melaya is speaking from there. This guy from Reno Mokri is also speaking from there. And all they're saying are all hate speeches, and all of them, against the peace accord. So this is quite unfortunate. I think and the security agencies with Inec, with all that has been happening, decided to set up another stakeholder meeting with security agencies, and they came out to tell us that they have deployed security forces and security personnel to all the Inec offices in Nigeria. Just barely a week or 2 weeks after that statement, the arson continued happening. All right, and that happened after the arson was committed in Osho State, and before you knew it, it happened again I think in Ebonyi State, and then in Enugu State, and then happened again in Imo State. All right, and they say they already deployed security forces to all the ANEC offices. So it's quite unfortunate, and with all these things taking place, we've heard about how people want to also buy votes. They're collecting people's INEC voters card, both I think in Enugu State it came out, in Imo State it came out. We saw how people were carrying people's voters card illegally in Kano State. All right, about 2.72 million invalid voters registration discovered in Kano. INEC came out to tell us that all of them were not underage voters. Some of them were replicated or duplicated voters registration. Some of them were invalid registration. But INEC saw people that are underage, purely children, dressed up to look like adults, but they are purely children, and they still registered them. So what do you have to say about that? So with all of this happening, INEC is now telling us that there might be tendency, or if care is not taken because of the speed of security challenge across the country, election might either be postponed or cancelled. It cannot. They will not do that. Okay, they will not do that. So Tanko continued by saying Nigeria must survive. Our citizens deserve better managers of our security and economy, and the Labour Party has a roadmap as is being laid bare by our presidential candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, and his running mate, Dr. Yusuf Dati Baba Ahmed. So this is a very good one coming from Tanko, Dr. Tanko Yusuf, or Yunusa, coming to tell Nigerians that we must not give in to all these political detractors. All right, we must do it. We must do the election, and we must vote once and for all, and vote out all these political desperados that are causing us problem in Nigeria, and let, for once, Nigeria be led by competent people and have everything work right for us. Nigeria is the only country that we have. We cannot leave it to crash completely. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment. I've got a few comments here that I think I should share. Let's see. Somebody said they feared Peter Obi 2023. They feared Peter Obi 23 win. If not, what is Nigerian army and police doing? That is true. Okay. Labour Party, PDP, APC, etc., which are political parties of Fulani Caliphate for Fulani minority rule over this territory, native are the anti-democratic forces. Can you imagine? This must be a poor person. All right. But you just have to people have to be careful from what they say. Labour Party is not Fulani. We should talk about PDP presidential candidate who is a Fulani and who is going to continue Fulani agenda. We should also talk about APC that has a Muslim ticket, and again to continue, who have also vowed to continue for where Buhari stopped. Those are the people we should blame. All right. Somebody said put APC said say, but APC said they have dealt with insecurity. All right, that bomb is not exploding here and there. Why stopping the election? They are not sure. They are not sure of themselves. That is the truth. One can understand talks about postponement of the election, but what is really meant by their cancellation? If, for the sake of argument, they are cancelled, then what next? One hopes Nigerians are watchful and alert. Yeah, Nigerians are watchful and alert. All right. They should talk about postponement at all. They should not even talk about cancellation at all as well. All right. Election must be conducted. Let's see it done. So thank you for listening, and let's have your comment for sharing.